Today's episode is brought to you by Simple Practice. Simple Practice is an all-in-one platform where you can schedule appointments, use paperless intakes, file insurance claims, and meet with clients remotely using their integrated telehealth system. Because running your practice should be simple, so you can do the work that really matters. Go to ter.li/simple to sign up for a free 30-day trial. Again, that's a special link, ter.li/simple to sign up for a 30-day trial absolutely free. This is the actual EHR that I use and have always used. So I'm a huge fan of Simple Practice. That's probably no secret because I've talked about Simple Practice quite a bit on here and on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So you know that I'm a fan. You know that it is my preferred EHR. And so, of course, I wholeheartedly recommend Simple Practice for you and your business as well. It's a product that I believe in and therefore and am able to endorse. And I only endorse products that I actually use and believe in. And this is absolutely one of them. I also know Howard and their team. And I know that they're great people. They really care about therapists and they care about what they do. So I think that really matters as well in terms of any company and their approach to working with therapists. So again, sign up for Simple Practice today. You can get a free 30-day trial at ter.li/simple. All right. Today we are talking about some different ways that you can automate your practice. Let's dive in. All right. And we are live. So if you're watching on YouTube, then you notice that I have a slightly different setting. I'm in a new location, and also I have a couple of my animal friends roaming around. So if you hear them, that's what that is. Already had a couple bloopers where I started the podcast, and I swear Lucia, my border collie, must have known that I was starting the podcast because she came up every time and put her head in my lap or tried to get up on me or was like trying to tell me she needed to go to the bathroom or something. And I was like, you must be messing with me. You must know that I'm trying to record. There's no reason why you would act this way otherwise. So, but if you hear some scurrying about, then you know that's what that is. It's my adorable animals in the background doing their adorable animal things. Today I want to talk to you about streamlining and automating your business. And in particular, some different ways that you can do that with our sponsor for today, Simple Practice. The first area that you can and should be automating and streamlining is your intake process. And I love the ways you can do this with Simple Practice in particular, starting with the way that you can embed their widget into your website. So you can embed basically your client portal into your website. I just think, first of all, from a consumer perspective and a consumer experience perspective, this is a great first impression to make on your clients. We all know, or at least a lot of us know, that feeling of going into a doctor's office or more likely a therapist's office and having to fill out like 15 pieces of actual paperwork, or having to, getting sent this zip file of paperwork that you have to print out at home, and you don't have a printer, or you have one, but you don't have any ink, or you're running low on like magenta or something. It's always one of those. It's always like magenta or cyan or some color that you didn't even know existed, and now you've got to refill it all of a sudden. Point being, it's a real pain in the ass, and one way to avoid that and have take that work off of your client's shoulders is to automate it and have a portal such as with Simple Practice. Through this portal, you can collect all the information you need, everything from their demographic info, credit card, of course, which is important, and we'll talk about in a minute, informed consent, HIPAA policies, and then, of course, your intake questionnaire. I love getting all this information before I've even met with a client for the first time. It's a great feeling when you have a client coming in and you have all the information you need and can read through it, make sure everything's good to go, make sure you have kind of a feel for what to expect right? Maybe getting a bit of their history if that's important to you as a clinician to have before the first session. Or you can at least have it for after the session. A lot of times I like to just get a small amount of information, just enough to get started and make sure that I'm in fact a good fit for the client. And then I'll even tell them that, go ahead and fill out your intake information and intake questionnaire and everything. And then basically after we meet, I'll go back and read the whole thing. So I really like to hear it from them first. I like to hear their story directly from them first and make my own impressions before I go any further and, make assumptions based on their intake paperwork. But anyway, it's great to have it all in one place. It's great for it to be electronic and to have that kind of modern touch in your practice. I just think it's absolutely essential. So again, automating and streamlining your intake process with Simple Practice is a great way to make that good first impression, reduce some of that admin work that you would otherwise be doing or that you would otherwise have your clients be doing. I know they have great features as well for insurance-based practices. I don't know as much about that since I'm private pay, but if that's the kind of practice that you have, then I know you can collect that insurance information up front, do whatever you need to do in terms of pre-authorization and whatnot. So that's really handy to have as well. All right. Second up is automating your scheduling. I would say this is the biggest one. And for me in particular, this is the biggest appeal for having a tool like Simple Practice. I'm convinced that this is at minimum how Simple Practice pays for itself for you as a therapist in private practice. I was just talking with a buddy of mine, a therapist in San Francisco. And if you're listening, I'm about to throw you under the bus, and I'm sorry, but also not sorry because you need to change. I just found out, he's a solo practitioner, full caseload, 25 clients a week or whatever, and still sends out manual reminders to his clients. So sends out the email or the text or whatever it is. I can't think of a bigger waste of time for you in your practice if you are doing something like that. So at minimum, using Simple Practice to automate that portion of your workload is huge, is a game changer. So offering, the other part is, of course, offering online scheduling itself. So you may be scheduling in person like a lot of people do. And I think that's totally fine to schedule at the end of sessions. I think that's actually a good way to do it in terms of making sure you have good retention, is just getting to the end of a session and saying, okay, great. Looks like I've got Tuesday at 4:30 open next week. Does that work for you? Go ahead and solidify that next session. If you don't, and you want to offer the option of online scheduling, then you can do it with Simple Practice. Within online scheduling, having those appointment reminders is absolutely essential. So the features that I use are having the email go out 48 hours before, and then the text reminder going out 24 hours before. I've always had a 48-hour cancellation policy. So what I do is in that email, basically tell clients that 48-hour email is a reminder that you have the appointment, and also a reminder that if you need to cancel, then now is the time to do it. Hands down, this increases and improves my retention and in a big way reduces no-shows. And again, this is how I think Simple Practice pays for itself over and over and over again, even if you were to just use it for that feature alone. Going back to the online scheduling thing, there are pros and cons of doing it, and I'm not necessarily going to, recommend it to everyone just outright, because I think it depends on you and your practice and the kinds of clients you see. The downsides of online scheduling are that I think you can lose people that way. I think sometimes if you just leave it up to them entirely, clients will have the best intentions of scheduling and rescheduling, etc., but they will often fail to do it, or they'll go on vacation and then forget to, reschedule when they come back. But so I think that is a risk that you run, with offering online scheduling. So you can offer it with a caveat, right? So maybe you offer it, and if you see that people aren't following up, then you say, hey, let me go ahead and get you scheduled manually, or you might reach out and make sure you're actually keeping your hard-earned clients, the clients that you worked hard to acquire. The pros are that it reduces your workload in a big way. It reduces the need for you to be chasing people around or going back and forth with people to try to find a time that works. There's nothing more annoying than, oh, can you meet Tuesday 4:30? No, I can only meet Thursday. Well, I can only meet Thursday at 5. Well, I can only meet Thursday at 2 actually, and going back and forth. There's nothing more annoying than that when trying to schedule. So again, going back to consumer experience and really customer service, offering that online scheduling feature can be a real great way to kind of up your game and the experience of your clients overall. The other thing that I like about that feature is that you can also automate your charges for no-shows. You can set that feature in Simple Practice, I believe. And so you might be able to feel a little bit less bad about charging for those clients that don't show up. Speaking of charging for no-shows, the last section of that I want to talk about today is automating your billing. And this is another big one right up there with scheduling. In my group practice, we require a credit card on file for every single person. I think that's an acceptable thing to ask of your clients in this day and age. I think a lot of clients enjoy being able to pay with credit card and just not worry about it, not have to worry about bringing their checkbook or having the exact amount of cash needed or whatever, what have you. So having a credit card on file that's stored in a secured system is just a great way to ensure that you are going to get paid. Again, you can set it to where it'll either process all your payments at the end of the day after your clients have come, or you can go through and charge them manually if you want to make sure that they did in fact show up, and then you can charge them after that session has occurred. I also love within the realm of billing that for an out-of-network practice, that clients can retrieve their own super bills. This is a huge one, and I used to do this manually, back in the day in San Francisco. I can't tell you how much time I wasted doing this, generating super bills manually, meaning creating one out of a Word document and going in and putting in all the CPT codes and the office code or whatever. What a complete waste of time. And that's time that you are definitely not getting paid extra for. So really, you're not getting paid for it at all. The last thing within billing is I like that you can track your unpaid sessions, or you can track, those clients that have an outstanding balance. There's a number of ways that you can get this view and see what outstanding fees are out there for your practice, and then you can acquire them. So, man, we flew through this today. I feel like I say that a lot, but we flew through this one for sure. I guess I'm just jazzed up about Simple Practice and our partnership, and about the ways in which using Simple Practice can help you automate your business and automate your life, get you time back, positioning you like running like a true business owner, not just a business operator. So again, I want to thank Simple Practice again for being our sponsor for today's show. We are going to talk more about automation as it relates to being a group practice owner coming up here in the next session or the next episode this week. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Also, do me a big favor, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. And if you have questions for the show, you can find me on Instagram at @TheJohnClarke with spaces in between, at @TheJohnClarke on Instagram. And I hope you have a great week. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.